this furball that is our Monday night team call. This will be our last one for a while. I don't know if you guys have noticed that your calendar. Next week, next Monday, is our big, massive cyber launch for our hair care products. And the excitement level, I don't know. I guess it's going to get higher. I don't know how. Somebody may blow a gasket. Hey, everybody, if you'll just mute your own phone. And Julie, you may have to help me with that. Next Monday night.
Okay, Mark, you will have to unmute yourself, please.
Alrighty. You guys hear me okay again? Anybody? There we go. So next Monday, the cyber launch starts at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, quick math, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and that means for you West Coasters, that's 6 p.m. Pacific Time. A lot of folks are doing events. Part of this, doesn't mean you have to rent out a salon. You can just gather some folks. If you have a hair care set on hand, that's going to be really helpful, just so people can see that product. So make it a big deal. It is a big deal. I expect our numbers to explode based on what we saw in Salt Lake City with the limited number of sets that we had on hand, and blew through those in a matter of 72 hours. This is, and all the hype and all the focus and the messaging, and it's going to be big. It's just going to be big, and right in time for Christmas as well. And I know we are probably going to be gifting some of those hair care sets if we can get them quickly. So that's Monday night, and then of course the following Monday night is Christmas Eve. So no, we're not going to have a team meeting then. We want you guys to spend that with your family, obviously. And then the following Monday night is New Year's Eve. Maybe we'll crank this thing up again for New Year's Eve. I doubt it. I know a lot of folks still have family in town. But here's what I want to propose that we do, and we've kicked this around a little bit, is have at least one cyber opportunity meeting. Online Zoom opportunity meeting in that stretch of time. We don't know when that's going to be. We don't have that scheduled yet. So watch the space that you get your information from this call on, primarily your Evo messaging system. That's your back office. And every time you get an Evo message through the electronic virtual office, you should get a message. If you don't, get with your sponsor, get with your plugged in upline and ask them why. Why am I not getting text messages when I get Evo messages? Why am I not getting emails? You should be getting both if you have that mechanism selected in your back office. So all that to say, this is the big one. This is the big Monday night team call before our hair care launch and before the end of the year. So I wanted to make that clear, and then I'll repeat that at the end of the call. Tonight we've got, it's really fun this season of December annually. There's so much stuff going on. We've got Super Saturday here in Kansas City this coming Saturday. We do our Christmas party this week, but nationwide, Eric Worre has chosen to do his GoPro events, his network marketing recruiting mastery event, traditionally this week every year, and our Building Depth get together out in St. George, Utah happened to correspond this same week. So if you hit GoPro, it was only an hour's drive down to Building Depth. That would have been really cool. We couldn't make it. I had Krista had an obligation with a friend of hers, so I got I had the privilege of watching our kids for that week. But we do have some team members I know that went to Building Depth, and we wanted to provide a platform for them to share just what that's all about and the principles that we have instituted and implemented to build our businesses. We didn't know any better. We plugged in Marcel Niederhauser and Tyler Daniels ran our upline. So we just did what they said to do, and that has worked. And it's a great system. It's very duplicatable. And now they're opening up quarterly events out their way in St. George, Utah, the Dixie Convention Center. So we've got a couple of people, primarily Christy Rollert, Pro 6 here in Kansas City. She's agreed to share her notes and feedback and thoughts. And I reached out to Neil Manning as well today, driving home from Denver. So if Neil is in a safe place, we're going to let him share his feedback as well on the Building Depth. And then anyone who was at GoPro, I don't know anyone personally in our team that was at GoPro, but if you were at GoPro, just give me a little wave there. Let me know you're willing to share. There were some amazing things going on. Michelle Poe from LifeVantage represented Tyler Daniels, represented, of course, our own Taylor Worry as Eric Worry's son. He was there in full force. Les Brown, Magic Johnson, crazy celebrities were there. But I'm talking too much. Christy Roller, I'm going to kick it over to you at the Disco Panera, baby.
Thank you, Mark. Guys, I have to tell you that this has been over the top. Was the best building depth I've been to yet. And we got a whole hour of listening to our CEO, Darren Jensen. And oh my gosh. Actually, at the GoPro event, Eric Worre presented Darren Jensen's notes from a couple of meetings. I don't know if you guys know, Darren Jensen is on the council for the World Federation of Direct Selling. He's also on the U.S. Direct Selling Board of Directors. But let's see, I don't have the date. In Dallas, there were 30 CEOs of major network marketing companies that got together, closed themselves behind doors for 2 days, and Darren was the key speaker. And that's the speech that Eric Worre gave at GoPro. So here's what he covered. He basically, and this doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. He basically gave the overall vision. When they were behind doors, the talk was that a lot of network marketing companies live in the gray area. And well, let me back up. The first thing he talked about was that we are in a war with the side hustle. And that is anything you can do to make money. That's Uber, that's Shopify, that's Lyft, that's Amazon, Airbnb, and Facebook. And he said that those side hustles are beating network marketing. The network marketing used to be the only game in town. And when he brought this up to all these leaders of these CEOs of these companies, they were going, no way, that's not true. You don't have an Uber driver that ever made, a six-figure income. And then Darren, you know how logical and how precise, we have the best leader in the whole wide world. Darren comes back with, I'm jumping ahead here, but he comes back with, he gives Uber as the example, as being the industry leader. Okay, hold on. Sorry about this. I just got off an airplane. Okay, where are my notes? Hold on, guys, I've got them. Okay, so Uber has been in business since 2009, same amount of time we have. They are doing $50 billion in sales. Okay, and then he said, to give the example, they were saying, where are my notes? Okay. Anyway, the point is that network marketing has been around for 100 years, and we're only doing $39 billion in the U.S. So that was his comparison between Uber and the other. But what he's talking about on the part that I think you guys are going to get really excited about is Amway was there, Mary Kay was there, he looked at those CEOs and he said to them, you guys have scarred the psyche of the industry for 3 generations. And then he looked at the younger companies and he said, you all have to share the blame because you've perpetuated the culture of bikinis and Lamborghinis. And he went on to say that most network marketing companies live in the gray area. And he said, you're going to love this. He said, LifeVantage wants to live in the sunlight. And not only will we survive, but we will thrive. I wanted to stand up and, just shout, yes, that's why I'm with this company. And then he went on to say that, there's all my notes about Uber. Oh, well, okay. Moving on. Okay, so he said that the industry has been thinking too much about big leaders. And he said the goal of LifeVantage, and what do we mean by the big leader? He says everybody starts out at the base level of being a producer. And then they move to manager. And from manager, they move to overseer. And from overseer, they move to overseer of overseer. And he said, it is the people that come back and stay in the producer phase. Those are the influencers. And then he goes on to talk about where we are now and how the company started down here, and it did that first wave, taking us to $200 million in sales, and then we leveled off. And he said, what happens is that's when you lose a lot of people. He said, so that's where we've been. And he said, down here, you have another line, and I wish I could show you guys the graph this way. So imagine a graph, and then imagine a line coming down here that comes up and meets at the point in that graph. He said, these are the influencers. We've been waiting for the influencers to catch up to start our next big wave. And I know a lot of you've heard him talk about companies that go through the momentum, they pop and then they drop. He said it's the influencers that keep the company from being a pop and drop. So what is an influencer? He said there are 5 characteristics of an influencer. They have a big vision. They're problem solvers. They're consistent in their activity. They take action, and they're independent. And guys, it dawned on me that building depth is molding us into influencers. And that is the power of attending. I know it's extracurricular, it's not required, but that building depth this weekend was over the top amazing. And getting to hear Darren speak for an entire hour about where the company's going, and of course his awesome statistics that he always gives. He went on to say that we have to become more tech savvy, and he gave the statistics of using our app and becoming a tech, the tech advantage. There are now 18,000 distributors in the company using the app. And you know how Darren says the most important retention in our company is the first dollar, and then second to that is going Pro 3. That's why we have the Pace Setter program. That's why they're now looking at the Pro 5 hustle. But the people using the app, the first dollar is happening 4 times faster than the traditional way we've always done network marketing. The first dollar in the first week went from 5% to 30%. And there were, on distributor enrollments, there were 2 times more than the traditional non-techie way. And I'm a non-techie, I'll admit it, but you know what, after these statistics, I'm thinking maybe I will become a techie, which hopefully you guys recorded that training this weekend because we were at Building Depth. Okay, customer enrollments. Are you sitting down? Customer enrollments is 650% more on the people using the app. That's huge. Okay, so I know I've jumped all over the place. You'll have to forgive me because I just got off an airplane. Okay, Mark, that's all I have.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you so much for jumping off a plane and jumping on the call. I know you're not home yet, and man, I can only imagine you're very composed and well put together. Just, if you will, just characterize the feeling of, I know it's a softball. I'm putting a ball on the tee for you, but I'm doing that intentionally because events are always events. Tell me how you feel moving forward into the first of the year off the back of Building Depth.
Okay, so they set out a challenge for us, and they really focused on activity, and they really focused on the challenge is 90 presentations in the next 90 days. So guys, that's 30 presentations a month. It's always been 75 before, but now it's 90 presentations. And then So I'm taking that challenge. And they said anybody that wants to work through December, they will reap the benefits in January and February. So there were a lot of us that stood up to take that challenge. So we will see where that takes us. And the feeling, oh my gosh, the feeling. I'm like everybody. I'm like, do I really need to go to building depth? Do I really need to put that extra amount in? But when I get there and you guys, we're with leaders. We're with people that are making $10,000 a month to $110,000 a month. We get Blue Elam, we get Marcel Niederhauser, we get Sherry Hollenbach, we get Clinton Boyles, we get, actually, there are now 18 elites in the room teaching us. 18. You know what Darren said? He said, guys, this doesn't happen. He's been in network marketing for 29 years. He said, it's in other network marketing companies, the egos are so big, you can't get two elites in the room together. 18 giving us their wisdom and how, the motivation to move forward from, and we get to hear about all the challenges. We get to hear what it takes. We get to hear, but we also get to hear the rewards, and we get to see the emotion, and we get to see the, Clint Boyles. Oh my gosh, his story. It was told from a totally different way this time than before. And, it's like anything. You gotta be there. You can't tell people what it feels like to be there. And it's not that expensive, guys. It's $25 a ticket, for goodness sakes. $25. You do have to get there, but share a room. I mean, I think we paid $30 a person for our rooms, so it's not expensive. At least come check it out one time, and then you decide. All right, I'm finished.
All right, Neil, stand by. I'm coming to you, Christy. Two things. I'll mention one. One, traditionally, the Building Depth crew gets together at our corporate events, so you can expect a meeting after the meeting in Charleston. Look for that. It's where everybody will be going, presumably on the Saturday night. Usually they try to do it after, not the Friday night during. But have you guys, is there a date set for the next Building Depth in the first of the year?
Yes, March. Well, I signed up for it. March 7th, 8th, and 9th, I think.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Christy.
No, March, it's 2, but I got to say one more thing, Mark.
Yes, please.
The other thing that the Building Depth has put out there is LB Coaching, and the sample app of the Axio is now available. And guys, people want this. And I did 2 presentations while I was one in St. George and one in LA or Las Vegas yesterday. And they wanted the sample. And so I was able to get their address and everything right there because they're excited about getting the sample. And then I don't know if you guys check into this. They get dripped on. I don't want to say dripped. What's a better word than dripped on?
Automatic follow-up.
Yeah, they automatically get to hear about every one of our products. So it's a pretty sweet deal. Okay, now I'm finished.
Yeah, no. So while you're on that, go ahead and give us how do we find LB Coaching?
It's lbcoaching.com. lbcoachingstore.com, excuse me. And I figured it out. They will actually, really cool. I don't know if you guys can see this. That's the sample apps. It comes in a really cool package, and you have to put in your ID into LB Coaching, and then they send them a really nice little letter from you inside the sampling pack. And so it's like, for you to pay for the shipping, it's like $5.95, but they put the samples in. That's sweet, it's more than that if you get things and put the samples in. So anyway, it's a good deal. Check it out, lbcoachingstore.com. And it is March. I'm just going to look here real quick. March, whatever that first weekend in March is, guys. It's Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Christy. And what better segue into a sampling program could you get than the world's first Nerf 2 activating hair care system? you can expect that, oh, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. People are already being very clever about finding ways to sample our hair care. Well done. Neil Manning, are you driving? Are you in a place that you can share as well, bud? You're muted. You'll have to unmute unless I can find you first. I'm looking for you. We may have lost Neil. All right, well, we'll kick this around just another minute. We were on the chat, somebody asked the 5 criteria or characteristics of those influencers. I'll hit you with them again. 1 is a big vision. And at some point, sure enough, this thing, our whys graduate beyond just ourselves. The faster that happens, the faster the word leader starts being associated with you, us. Number 2, problem solvers. And guaranteed, the people that we see in our teams as leaders are the people who are not whiners, myself included. Because it's tempting, we're pioneering, right? And there's always something to complain about. There's always a reason that we have not achieved the level of success that we think we should be, where we should be. We're comparing ourselves to other people. We think we should be Kerry Dickey or Stu Brody or Skip Campbell, God help us. I'm being facetious, of course. But the people that we see taking ownership, solving the problems, figuring it out. If you get a problem that you can't figure out, by all means, call your upline. But there's a whole corporate staff dedicated, a VIP line to Pro 4s and up. Pro 5, you got your own account managers. Somebody can help you, right? So take ownership, take responsibility, figure it out. If it's important to you, you'll figure it out. If not, you'll make an excuse. So number 2, problem solvers. Number 3, the people that are consistent. And hypothetically speaking, the people that you see on these calls, the people yet you see at event after event after event after event, those are the people who grow their business. And the people that'll go like a house on fire for 2 weeks and then you don't hear from them again for 2 months, the attrition overtakes what they've gained. It just, you have to remain consistent to be an influencer. Number 3, they take action with you or without you, with us or without us. Influencers take action. That's why these people, without a lot of sponsorship, promotion, find themselves in St. George, Utah. Why? Because they took action. They took ownership of their own business. And number 5, kind of similar, they're independent. And those are kind of intertwined. But, you know, I'm not worried if I don't hear from some of you on a daily basis. I don't need to. And I know what you're doing. I know you are inviting. I know you're presenting. You don't feel the need to call me. And I love that because influencers are, by definition, independent. So those are those 5. I hope you wrote those down. I see Neil back on the call, brother. If you've got some time, we'd love to hear from you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. You're a little bit faint. Give us a go.
Okay. First thing I learned is Christy takes much better notes than I do. Her notes,
hey Neil, you're still just a little faint. I don't know if you can speak up just a little bit or move closer to your laptop.
Okay, okay. I'm actually on my cell phone, so, but Christy takes much better notes than I do. Okay, and it was difficult for me to get there. It was a 3-day. I drove a truck for 3 days and then got a rental car and had to drive the rental car down. And on the way down there, I got a ticket, which affected my speed. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me?
Yep. You're still kind of faint, but we got you.
Okay, so I was late to the meeting. And when I got there, Darren was speaking. 15 minutes into Darren's talk, I said, it was worth it. Just that first 15 minutes I heard was worth all the effort that I put in to getting there and getting back. Okay? And I thought to myself, you know, a lot of what goes on at the big meetings is stuff that we've heard before numerous times. But have you ever been to a rock concert or heard one of your favorite musicians perform live? You know, well, I sang and play guitar, a lot of people compare me to Bob Dylan, and they say he's better, okay? And I've heard everything that he's ever done, but I wouldn't miss a chance to see him in person, because when you see it live, when you hear it live, it's just a different thing. Now, I personally got to have brief but personal conversations with several of the. I walked into the auditorium with Blue Elam, you know. So, you know, I don't really remember the time that I'm from each of the events that I've been to, and my experience has been they continue to get better. Now, I think it might have to do with where I am, you know, and you know, the value that comes out of these events. Marcel, he makes a point of saying the corporate events should take priority, but the you know, just whatever it is, whether it's the LBA or the elite academies or the global, and now I put these building depth things right in there. If I had a chance to hear Mark Harris and Jackie Shepard in the same event, that would really be, I don't know how you do better than that. That's it for me.
All right, buddy. Neil's being a little funny because Jackie and Krista and I don't know how much we'll get Krista in the front of the room, but we're sharing time at the local Kansas City Super Saturday this coming Saturday. So thank you for that plug, Neil. If you're in the Midwest and you want to come see us, we'd love to have you. And thank you so much, brother, for taking the time to jump on. I don't want to belabor the call. We're coming up at the bottom of the hour. You know, we're running hard for Ireland. You know, those of us that said we were going to contact 100 people before the end of the year with our Love Dare, 90 days out. That was, 8 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. I still have some catching up to do on that. If you don't know what to do this week, just do that. Just call somebody up, one person a day, and ask them how they're doing, and listen and ask them good questions if they're happy where they are. And, you know, if the spirit moves, then let them know you got something. And if that's not appropriate, if it's been too long since you talked to them, set an appointment. Say, listen, I really need to share something with you, something I'm super excited about, and when's a good time to talk? That's how professionals do it. So do that. The 90 presentations in 90 days, if you've not been doing a lot of presentations, that sounds like an astronomical number. Listen, an invite should take 2 minutes. Seriously, an invitation, a phone call invitation should take 2 minutes. If it's taking longer than that, and you've been in contact with these people, it's taking more than that. It's taking too long. You're already in the weeds if your invitation takes 5 minutes, because they're asking you what it is. That's a sign to you that it took too long, right? You should be, if you're following the principles that Eric Worre teaches in GoPro, you're in a hurry. And if they're open, you've got something that you'd love to share with them. And it's your tool of choice. So I want to encourage everyone on this call that want to take that challenge. A presentation is this: an invitation, a tool, and then you put them in touch with the team. Upline, downline, sideline, crossline, it don't matter. Invitation, make sure they see something, some kind of tool. If you're doing the talking, it ain't working. And then put them in contact with the team in some way, even if that's virtual, even if they need to see, I don't know, another tool, Mark Gordon. But a personal touch with a team member is going to be far more effective. So 3 things again: invite, tool, team. That's presentation, right? 90 of those next 90 days. I love that, Christy. That's awesome. And well done for standing up and taking that challenge.
Mark, I just want to say one thing. Last time I took the challenge when it was 75, and just standing up and saying I will, and be, and you know, one of the principles of the building depth is always do what you say you're going to do. I took the challenge for 75. I didn't make 75, but I got 68 in. And oh my gosh, have things started rocking and rolling and shifting and changing. It's just being consistent and people watching and coming along with you. And I actually had a brand new distributor at Building Depth who's like on fire, excited. That's what happens when you take a challenge and you actually say, okay, I'm going to do it. Of course, they're offering to give $10,000 to people that follow through with the steps that you do. This time it's 1,000, but hey, it's also all the that you get the rewards of all the stuff that happens when you do it. Okay.
Yeah, and for sure you're going to Ireland, for sure, right? So
I'm hoping.
What's the worst that can happen if you aim for 90 and you hit 75?
Yeah.
Right. That's probably, I don't know, 40 more than you would have done, or 50 more than you would have done had you not made that commitment. So I love that, Krista. Thank you so much for sharing. Neil Manning, thank you, brother, for jumping on the call, and for everyone else. I wish you a Merry Christmas. If we don't talk between now and then, this is so much fun to do life with all of us together. I couldn't pick a better group of people. I'm highly biased, but I think we got the best doggone team in all of LifeVantage, because I know you people, you crazy little monkeys, and I love you. And I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled at what's going to happen. I'm thrilled at the transformation that we're going to see next time we're together in Charlotte. It's a good season to be in LifeVantage. I guess you could go do something else. I guess. All right, with that, Julie, I'm kicking it back to you, sister. Any other comments or updates you've got? And then if you'll sign us off, that'd be awesome.
Great. Wow, gee, it sure was a great Zoom tonight. So glad to see all of you. And thank you, Christy. Thank you, Neil. That was very inspiring. It's motivating me, that 90 presentations in 90 days. I love that too. And Mark mentioned sampling. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I grabbed these at Walmart, and I just got these little containers, put some shampoo in one, conditioner in the other, and then one of the sheets, the information sheets, and also a business card. And then you want to do a follow-up appointment. But if you have your products already, you can, be started working on that. We're having our first party tomorrow night, which I'm super excited for, and then we're having one on the 17th. So anyway, it's great to have you guys on the Zoom. Thanks so much for joining us, and Merry Christmas. I'm going to miss all you guys for the next couple of weeks, but hope you have a wonderful Christmas with your family, and we just love you. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night.
Hey, good night, Julie. Good night, Mark. See you, Bernie.
Good night.